Right, welcome to this week's behind the scenes analysis as well. Okay, so as usual, I'm gonna record down the whole analysis process, and throughout this, we'll be sharing with you a little bit of the thoughts, comments as we progress as well. Okay, and of course, as you're watching this, if you have any questions, strongly suggest that you jot it down and then reach out to me. Let me know some of the questions that you guys have so that I can better explain the principles and what am I thinking, so that you are able to acquire the skill set for yourself as well. Okay, so with that, let's get started for this week. Right, so dollar index over here, you can see as we typed just now, right? Overall daily, we are looking more on the downside because of this five-wave structure. Overall, nothing has changed. However, on the forward time frame, you can see over here, the past 1 or 2 weeks, we're basically in a consolidation. So one technique, I would say one possibility is that this continue to go higher, forms that double top, and then that reverse, okay, breaking down what we know as a neckline. Alternatively, what can develop also is if this continue to come down a little bit more, we can also see this as a corrective structure for another push to the upside. Right. So for now, it's almost like 50-50. Nothing is really standing out yet. So for that reason, that's why we are kind of like neutral onto the dollar itself. Okay, especially in terms of the bias here as well. Okay, so that's on the dollar index. Okay, so over here you can see naturally on the euro dollar, basically we're going to be having quite the opposite of what we see on the dollar index, right? We have current consolidation, and therefore this is either going to be a double bottom, okay, for of course upside buyers, or it's going to develop into a corrective flag where we're then going to be focused on the downside, right? So the idea is, if this is going to be a flag, then this can still come back down, retest, and then maybe only push higher. Or what we can see is, if the market continue to do a little bit more of a corrective structure here, okay, it doesn't need to go back, and this can still be seen as a corrective for the upside. Okay, so that's why in terms of euro dollar and the dollar right now, it's not the best one to be focusing for a trade, because there's still too many possibilities of how this can eventually develop. Okay, so the suggestion is just to maintain neutral, okay, and be patient onto that. Okay, so pound dollar, I think quite clear. The idea over here we're seeing is that we have a five-way structure developing. Okay, and we can see that currently market does a little bit of retracement, not that impulsive yet. So this can still be a wave for correction. Okay, and we are then expecting one more push to the downside to complete the entire five-wave structure. And if that's the case, somewhere around here, this might be a huge back to the upside, right? So from there, then only will be more interested in the buy. But for now, if this analysis holds, we're not going to look for the buy yet. Okay. In fact, if you're interested, you can even look for a short-term sell to take the fifth wave down. Okay, so that's on pound dollar, yeah. Oh, okay, wrong one over here. Just a very quick. Okay. Yeah, should be this. Right, so that's on dollar CAD. Just want to quickly jump in to talk about this as well, right? So daily over here, you can see as long as you know, this channel has been respected, we can still expect an upside, right? You can see 1 time, 2 time, 3 time. Would this be the 4th bounce and up? As of now, we'll maintain that view. And in terms of the 4-hour time frame, okay, last week we had this trade. It's still currently running. We'll see how it goes, right? As long as the market maintains above this stop, above this high, this low, and as long as it's respecting our stops, then we can continue to expect this to push higher as well. Okay, and of course, this is a very complex corrective structure in the overall view, so we'll see. Okay, but that's how I'm looking at it right now, right? So as things develop, we might need to adapt our analysis accordingly. But for now, nothing much has changed since we last did, you know, the prep. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Okay, dollar franc over here is definitely a pair that I want to keep an eye on next week. From a daily time frame perspective, you can see how the rejection has developed, right? So we get a V shape right now. We are expecting at least a minimum pullback towards like 9192, which is where the bottom of this trend line is going to be. However, there's also the possibility this can break and hit lower. Okay, so the downside opportunity and the room for how much price can move lower is definitely very attractive. And on the 4-hour time frame, we'll need to be a little bit patient. Okay, perhaps what's going to happen is this is going to come down, that's a little bit of a consolidation, and that would then present us an opportunity to sell. Okay, but basically we just want to be patient and see, wait for that to actually happen, right? So we'll definitely have this in our watch list, and we'll keep an eye on how things develop from here. Okay, so next one we have is the dollar yen. Right, so over here on dollar yen, you can see what I've done just now, right? So daily isn't very clear because, you know, if you look left here, nothing much. It's very impulsive, definitely a bullish momentum. So what I went and did was to look at a weekly if there's any key reference point, and we have this significant high here, and we saw that the market actually broke off pretty impulsive. Okay, and what I did, you know, right at the start when I look at this is things has changed, obviously, right? Initially we were looking at this as a potential diagonal, okay, for the downside, and of course things has changed and we need to just quickly update our analysis as well. Right now we're not looking for that as a reversal anymore because of this little impulse push for the past 2 weeks, and right now it's definitely bullish in nature. Okay, but again, this is just an impulse, so we don't jump into the trade, but we'll need to wait for more confirmation, right? So that's the idea for dollar yen over here. Okay, so in terms of the major as of now, I think the one that's worth to be really focusing on from the major segment will be dollar franc going into next week. Okay, so again, I hope so far so good. You guys are, you know, able to slowly get the hang of like what is my thought process, how all this analysis are being done. All right, so let's continue to the next segment on the commodities currency over here.